Hi, Cosmic Family. This is Charlie. I'm here in the Cosmic Labyrinth, and this is the weekend wrap up. So this week it's been a pretty tough week. I think you could say it's been very challenging in terms. It's been midterm week, and on top of that, I had just started moving to a new place, and so it's been really busy. Everything's all over the place. So I've really had to learn to study in the mess, right? Because I usually like things all put away and everything, but it's been really hard. And there's a lesson in that, in being able to find inner peace during the chaos. So I'm just showing you one wall of the rooms that I'm in right now, but you could see there's things everywhere all over the place, and so eventually I'll get to that. But being able to find a nice spot to bring my laptop and to just sit there and study for all these classes have been a little bit challenging. Because this week I had the differentiation midterm, and that midterm was about the 8 principles of Chinese medicine, the yin yang, cold, hot, excess, deficiency principles. And then it was also then the blood, qi, and body fluids. So it's using those to differentiate the different problems that you have internally or externally. Yeah. So that one, I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like I could definitely study that a little bit better. It was really hard to figure out the right way to study these symptoms or these differentiation. So after seeing them through the test a couple of times, it's really kind of helped me understand how to differentiate and what to look for in people's symptoms. And then we had an herb midterm as well, and that one was a little bit hard. We had a midterm, and everybody struggled with chapter 7, which is all about expelling phlegm, resolving phlegm with cough or wheezing. And there are 3 sections. Each of them had at least 10 herbs. So we had 30 and then another, so 35 herbs, new herbs on top of the original 20 herbs the way we studied in the first part of the semester. So it's total of over 50 herbs that way more than 50 herbs that we had to kind of memorize. There's different functions, different indications, even dosage and contraindications. So I mean, it was a tough week. And then we also had a project that we had to turn into class, which I thought was really good because it really helped me dive in deeper into a particular herb. And the one that I brought and presented to class is juru, which is bamboo shavings. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I have to practice my pronunciation. But juru, bamboo shavings, was the project I did, and the article I found was all about antioxidants. So in Chinese medicine, it's actually used for stomach heat and clearing the heat in the lungs from heat phlegm. So when you have that moist environment, that's why you get a lot of that heat phlegm. And bamboo shavings, shaving the bamboo is actually really good for clearing those. But what they found is in China, they have so much bamboo, and they don't have a lot of problems with people running into stomach heat problems. However, they have found that plant extract has a lot of terpenes, and I always forget these complicated, but yeah, there's phenols. There's something in the plant extract that actually helps raise antioxidant levels, and actually they found that when they really pare down to the molecules within the plant extract of bamboo, they found that it had a really high rate, 90%. If they're using over 90 microliters of this extract, they could get over 90% conversion from turning or activating the free radical antioxidant properties, which is huge. So, and they have a ton of this bamboo in China. So if they were able to really produce something that is usable as an antioxidant pill, let's say, which is kind of where people like to end up taking these herbs, is everything turned into a pill, pop a pill and keep going. However, the idea that we can probably put bamboo shavings in our food now for dishes is an opportunity for, adding really good herbs into our diet. I mean, not even just diet, into the way we eat and the way we consume energy for our health. And that's really kicked me into kind of a very exciting place here. Living with my dad now, I actually have been appreciating agriculture a lot more. My dad comes from lands in Vietnam that were very agricultural before he moved into the city and became a captain in a Navy ship. So spending time with my dad has been great because he shows me all these herbs that he studied when he was learning acupuncture as well. So there's kind of like this commonality now that we can have. But he speaks Vietnamese and he tries to explain to me all these properties in Vietnamese, and I'm barely learning them in English, and having to translate has been pretty challenging as well, but it is pretty entertaining just watching us try to go figure out a lost in translation of what these herbs do. So it's really fun to be more fully integrated in being part of nature and seeing these herbs as actual plants that grow right outside of yard. The presentation also really gave me insight into wanting to spend more time on these herbs with these videos. So right now I've been just reading out what these herbs do and what their properties are, but maybe I can do a mini project like the bamboo shavings one without having to do an article for every herb, but I would just break down some of these functions and put some visuals to help really memorize these herbs, because I really need the study practice, and making them visually appealing is also a way for me to express my creative side. So that would be a really fun project for me to make my videos a little bit more visually pleasing right now, because right now it's just me reading out notes. And then I had an awesome time visiting some friends in San Antonio. They're kind of like like-hearted souls. They resonate with me in so many different ways, in so many different internal ways as well. I mean, there's a lot of things that we don't really share with a lot of people, and so we only have close friends that we can share that with, and they're one of our really good friends that I can really open up to about all the crazy things that I haven't shared in these YouTube channels yet. But eventually I will. My hope is to actually be able to express the inner thoughts that a lot of us may be having but are too afraid to share, or have been told that those ideas are not normal, or you should feel ashamed for having them. And I think it's really important that really do support inner work, inner journeying, and what that looks like, and how tough yet inspiring it is to overcome a lot of the internal blockages that we may have within us. So I do this video as well to help me be able to share kind of like my internal struggles, to let people know that we're all struggling with the video game of life, but we have a lot of tools for us to conquer them and become in charge of ourselves and of our reality and of our experience that we're having. I also noticed that there was a really interesting pattern. So I've only sent this YouTube clip out to a few of my friends, to a few people that I knew that also resonate with this information. And so far, everybody's been very supportive. And I've also now met other meetup people that are also doing their own YouTube channel. So that's very exciting. So I think there's a new transition that's happening with being able to share information. I think mainstream media is becoming an old paradigm concept where we're no longer watching paid people who are paid by certain groups to share information. I think now we want to hear everyone share any type of information. I mean, we are here in the United States of America that has a constitution that says freedom of speech, right? So here I am expressing my freedom of speech, and I hope that we are all able to express freedom of speech and finally can hear what is really happening in the world rather than watching paid broadcasting by only certain individuals that want to share only a percentage of the information. So I hope that this YouTube culture keeps growing. There's so many amazing people out there sharing this information, and I'm just another one of many. And I hope that every people who join my channel can resonate in the information. Please share below what you would like to hear. I'm always exploring information, and in these days, I'm really focusing on Chinese medicine and kind of this ancient medicine and how it's being used, and I'm actually then trying to correlate to the Native American and the whole the Druids and all the ancient cultures that had a lot more of these shaman type archetypes of medicine men or medicine women, that were living in nature and using these herbs and whatever medicine to heal the people. I think there is both a combination of the spiritual healing that can happen where people work with the spirit, but then there's also a very physical need and place for medicine to also be physical as well, where we have these herbs that we can take to help deal with mental, spiritual, or physical problems. So it's really important that we really take everything into a holistic manner. And so I hope to share how the things that I learned today can be applied to many of the things that we do in our everyday life. It's very important that we really apply our knowledge into our everyday routines, because that's how we're able to learn. So I'm studying right now. I love the YouTube culture. I want to share the information. I believe in a world where education, food, and medicine should be free, given by nature, and us working with nature and aligning with nature, being able to develop those skills first, and then our creativity can be built upon that. It goes the same way with like any art form you learn, from art to science to music. You have to learn the structure. You have to learn the different ways that things sound pleasing or a lot of tension. I don't want to say positive, negative, because there's a lot of different polarities for that. Even in music, you can't say things are bad or good. We like listening to sad songs when we're sad, or we like to listen to songs with tension when we're like working out and trying to feel like we're fighting through tension. So there's music for all of our emotions, just like there's people, just like there's thoughts, just like there's herbs, and just like there's needle points in our body to activate different emotions to help us feel and lean into more emotions. So I'm really excited to be able to actually really focus these videos to have more of a visual, fun visual cues, because it'll be much more entertaining. And I'm also really excited that this weekend, this coming Saturday, I'm gonna have a meetup here in Houston, and we're gonna talk about extraterrestrial, extra multi-dimensional, just anything that is considered paranormal, metaphysical, beyond the visual senses, the five senses that science likes to base their objective inputs from. When we get into that sixth level where everything is more subjective based on who is the person viewing the experiment, then everything changes. That's what quantum mechanics talks about, and so the metaphysics talks about this as well. So it's really important that there's ways to connect if we need to, but the whole idea is to trust that there's even more invisible realities out there, and different people are connecting to different versions of that. You know, people call them angels, demons. You can call them ETs. Some people call them spirit guides. Some people call them future self, past selves. People call them ghosts. People call them ancestors. People call them, you know, all kinds of different names. You know, but the idea is that it's like a phone, right? I call it more like a metaphysical phone that we have that we can dial in. But you know, just like right now, when I first get my phone, I need to know people. If I know people, I say, can you give me your phone number? I'll lock down their phone number, and then I'll put a name there, a nickname, right? Even a nickname, you know. I could call all my friends angels and all the people I don't like demons, right? And when I call a friend an angel, you know, a phone, like an actual voice comes on the other line, but that person isn't around me. And so the idea that a lot of people are suddenly have a metaphysical phone in their head suddenly is dialing random phone numbers, and suddenly some people are calling in and they're picking up the line. So it's important that we understand the different ways in how to discern these voices. Are these voices meant to trick me? Are these voices meant to hurt me? Are these voices meant to get me to follow their agenda? Or are these voices trying to inspire me and trying to give me guidance that I may not think about, that is way more abstract now, but very soul rewarding if I kind of work at it. So there's so many different thoughts that come through our head every day, you know, and now the whole idea of everybody pushing meditation is really turning off the external distraction and tuning in internally into the voice inside that's speaking. That's really the important part of meditation, and that voice is actually generating these projection outside of us. And so the meetup is going to be really about exploring what people have talked about, who they've talked to, and what is considered a pattern that we see currently happening to different people that we meet. You know, it's important for me to also meet people in person, because again, I'm putting this online, it's going out in the digital world. I meet people digitally through YouTube, you know, or any social media platform, but it's weird that we don't meet in person. So it's sometimes for me it's important to meet in person, so I don't drive myself crazy that I'm just watching a YouTube clip. And anyways, thanks a lot, everybody. You have a good day now.